Hey everyone, welcome to this daily Sidereal Astrology forecast. This is for Monday, February 20th, 2017. So today we've got the moon in Ophiuchus. I think it's a healing day collectively. Good for diving deep, seeing if there are any wounds that we can accept about ourselves. And through that, feeling redeemed, feeling transformed, and rejuvenated as a result of that healing. Now, this is all in relation to the fact that the sun's in Aquarius, so we can certainly be focused on things in a progressive way still, expressing our individuality and really accessing that idealistic side of ourselves. It's really how we're focused on the world there, that progressive spirit. Now, we're in the third quarter phase, though, so it is a bit of a challenge collectively to sort of integrate these two very different energies with our personality, right? You've got the healing, the deep, the transformative, and then you've got the progressive and the free-spirited. So that's really a challenge, you could say, of the day, is how to integrate both the deep with the progressive in terms of seeing things in a sense of, yes, there is freedom. Yes, there is a lot of individuality and great things to express about ourselves, but at the same time to really see the depth and the raw truth about ourselves and maybe about life and connecting on that level, although maybe challenging collectively, can be very rewarding. So that is the sun and moon here today. We do have some easy aspects actually today, so I think generally today has this bit of easiness about it. We do have the moon in good aspect, which we'll talk about. We do have Mercury sextiling up to Uranus going into tomorrow, so I think our minds are quite progressive also, and I think anything that does involve thinking outside the box or innovative thinking can actually go very well here today. Also good mental stimulation for the routine, maybe changing up the routine, trying something new. All right, so let's go and look at this in more detail when we return. All right, so there it is, the moon in Ophiuchus. This is the part of the sky that does have to do with transformation. Essentially what we'll have is the moon going over that galactic center, which is right about where Saturn is. Actually, I'm going to make a video on that pretty soon. But yeah, going over that galactic center, going over Saturn, and then as we get into the evening time, and especially more so tomorrow, the moon will be going into Sagittarius. Excuse me. And this is the part of the sky after the transformation when we feel free-spirited in the sense of seeing that top-down perspective of life, right? The adventurous spirit, the open-mindedness, philosophy, spirituality, when it's about wisdom and stuff. Basically taking a lot of what we learned during what is right now a much more watery, spiritual, and perhaps internal time of doing that healing. So definitely great to do that here today. As a result, yes, there is transformation, there is rejuvenation. With that, again, integrating that with our personality that wants to express our individuality right now. That's the sun in Aquarius. Great for free-spiritedness, great for progressive things, and again, a bit of that idealistic nature can go a long ways. So today specifically, we do have a lot of easy aspects with the moon, as you can see here, particularly with this aspect, Mercury sextiling Uranus. Essentially, we've got the moon sextiling Uranus and sextiling Mercury and trining Uranus with that. So it's supporting this more major aspect with Mercury. So with this one going into tomorrow, there is this innovative thinking. I think we're able to see things outside the box. I think we're willing to see things from a new angle, which can make anything that does involve the mind, such as communication, but also learning, reading, writing, practical things, really gives us this fresh sense of excitement, of seeing things in a new way from a new angle, and that can give us again the innovation with that. It's also good to change up the routine, or we may feel like we want to change up the routine with this aspect. So that could be good. Now, keep in mind, sextiles are just a sort of opening. So it's not like, there may not be anything external sort of influencing this, but we may feel it. And with that feeling, maybe it is good to try something new and different here today. Maybe again, involving the mind or communication there. So that's the major aspect with the moon forming up some easy aspects to that. The moon is going to go over Saturn, who has been squaring up to Chiron. So the second half of the day, maybe a new chapter about seeing where we are willing to, and I think with this we will be willing to take things nice and slow. I think there's a grounded energy about our emotions the second half. Although there's a lot of this Uranus kind of stimulation. Uranus is about a bit of a higher frequency kind of energy, again, about freedom and progressiveness and all of this, especially with the sun in Aquarius. But by the second half, I think emotionally, internally, especially with all this healing we've got going on, maybe feeling like, yes, we can take things nice and slow. We're feeling quite grounded, or at least that's a very good way of working with this, to sort of detach from the emotional body, bring some extra attention to that, to the emotions, and in that way have a sort of emotional mastery as we start this new lunar cycle with Moon conjunct Saturn. All right, and then there's that square to Chiron, of course, which is really confirming this whole healing process. Chiron is about healing, very much associated with Ophiuchus, considered the modern ruler of Ophiuchus. And so there might be some challenges with the healing, but again, this can all be very rewarding, and it's really the time to do that, right? And then through that, integrate that with that outer personality and our minds, which is thinking progressively and wanting to change things up. All right, so that is the day in a nutshell. I do want to say that this week is very important. As we go into tomorrow, we're going to have Mars squaring up to Pluto, so we may be feeling this a bit today. But essentially what we have here is we have a very transformational week. If you haven't yet checked out the weekly, be sure to check that out. There's a lot going on. But with this one, if you are feeling a bit of clash today or sort of increasing as the day unfolds, it really just depends on your receptivity to these transits. It is good to sort of take a step back with Mars square Pluto. I'll talk about this more tomorrow, but it is good to sort of bring extra attention to the ego, to our own personal needs, just so that we're not holding on too tight and sort of clashing with the things we want, right? And then in that way, it can be, intense or destructive or something like that, because the ego is really holding on tight. So the more we're able to detach, let go from anything we want or our personal needs that might feel very instinctual and strong today, I think can be helpful. But again, I don't think that's the major aspect. For some of you might be feeling that, but for most of us, I think a lot of this more progressive energy of thinking outside the box, trying some new things, maybe with that routine, and integrating all of that with the deeper, right? How can we have that openness with ourself and the acceptance of ourself, accept these feelings, accept these wounds, right, that we all have that may come to the surface here today. And then through that, feeling rejuvenated, transformation as a result, especially as we go into tomorrow with the moon in Sagittarius. All right, so hope you guys have an awesome day. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow.